Today on Fight Insight Podcast, we will have Bryan "BAMBAM" Barberena, and we will talk about UFC 310 results and the media in the UFC. So sit back, relax, and Tim, hit it! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fight Insight Podcast.
This man has saved our show so many times, Rain, from complete failure and utter disaster. He's the very first guest that, kind of like pushed me on the way to get this podcast going, because he said, don't worry how terrible you are. I'm going to be a guest on your show. And I was so honored. And now, 4 years later, I can honestly say this guy is like one of my best friends. He's such a great dude. Rain, we're going to talk about UFC 310. We're going to talk about the terrible media in MMA today. Bring him in, Rain.
Please welcome Bryan "BAMBAM" Barberena.
Nice. Hey,
What's going on, Bam Bam?
awesome. Thank you for the intro.
How are you doing?
Problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bam Bam, how much do
I
you
never
miss?
said you were terrible. I never said that.
No, well, sure. It was implied. It was strongly implied.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. How are you
Well,
doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. Doing all right.
Yeah.
Hanging in there. Yeah.
Good, my man. Well, look, I appreciate you coming on. This is very last minute, as you have done for me in the past. We did have a guest all lined up, Bam Bam. It was Mr. Vicious Tresean Gore, who's a very interesting character. His background is very interesting. He's a UFC middleweight who competed on The Ultimate Fighter. Then, here's my first question for you, Mr. Veteran. When he comes out of the Ultimate Fighter show and he gets a contract to compete, regular contracts are 4 fights, right? Is that generally the norm?
So they've changed. So I think when I first signed my first contract, it was like a 3-fight deal.
Okay.
And I know they have, like, if you win the Ultimate Fighter, it's a different contract, a different kind of contract.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he was fighting just to, like, from the show to get a contract against another guy on a show, then I would assume it'd be like a normal contract. So probably like a 3-4 fight deal, maybe
3 or 4. Okay. So he ended up making it to the finals, Tresean Gore, but then he got injured, couldn't compete in the finals, but he still made it in. He loses his first 2 fights and then wins his next 2, gets a performance of the night bonus, and then wins his second one, both of them by chokes, like literally like lays the dude out both times. So I was thinking that must have been like the last fight on his contract. So that was pretty cool that like you end your contract with 2 big wins to hopefully then get to keep going,
Absolutely. Yeah. And I would assume that he's probably made some changes, or whatever it may be. The fact that he's on a 2-fight winning streak now, it definitely paves the way for him to go ahead and keep fighting and get a new contract.
Yeah, so it would have been pretty cool. So I don't know where he is. Not only that, Bam Bam and Rain, but look, I went and found he's Mr. Vicious, but I found my Mr. Perfect cup. I found that, so I was gonna battle him, Mister to Mister.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, Bam Bam. UFC 310 goes down. Rain, we were talking a little bit before we started. Garry loses. How are you feeling about that, Rain?
I mean, I honestly don't care that he lost. I was just mostly curious as to who's going to get the first loss, right? Because they're both undefeated fighters. I think that was like kind of like the drama going into that matchup. To me, it's like which O would go. And for Ian Machado Garry, that's him. How about you, Tim? You love Ian Machado Garry.
I mean, Bam Bam, if I had streamers and balloons to throw up in the air when Ian Garry lost, I would have done it. Like this guy is very unlikable, Bam Bam. He's the opposite of Bryan "Bam Bam" Barberena. He's absolutely unlikable. Even I saw, and I didn't prepare this for the slide, but he did a tweet afterwards that is like, Shavkat is great and blah blah blah, but I will see you again, and I can beat you, blah blah. It's like you can't even be humble in your freaking tweet after you lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm not obviously I'm not a huge like Ian Garry fan or anything. It is what it is, whatever.
Nobody is, not even his wife.
There was a lot of back and forth between me and him a while back, and the fight never materialized. We both said yes. We both said we wanted to fight each other. We were both talking to the matchmakers, trying to get them to book the fight. They didn't want to do it. I thought it was because, I personally think that, they were protecting him from me, obviously more so. Why would they be protecting me from him? So, he's done well. He's winning fights. He's, was undefeated. I actually picked Garry over Shavkat in the fight just because, I kind of was feeling kind of risky and thought I'd go for, the underdog pick, and maybe he stood a chance or something. I don't know. I figured the takedowns would be, a big part of it, but he did throw up some submissions that put him at risk briefly, but ultimately I think he was kind of gun shy on the feet, and I think that more so that kind of cost him the fight more than anything.
Did you guys both agree that you thought Shavkat won the fight though? It was very close.
Oh, I think Shavkat won. Yeah.
Yeah. Rain?
Yeah.
I didn't get to see like the full fight, but I knew it went all the way to the 5th round.
Yeah, 5th round. It wasn't a great fight, to be
honest.
It
was close, but yeah, it wasn't like super, on the edge of your seat. Excited for the next round, excited for like a finish to come along. So it wasn't that, but
yeah.
I thought
so
it was
then
close.
Here's something for veteran Bam Bam. So Bam Bam, you've got your UFC contract, right? And it stipulates your pay.
Yeah.
Do they get more when it's a 5-round fight though? Like, would you have renegotiated if you go, hey, if I'm co-main and it's 5 rounds, does your contract then you automatically renegotiate? How does that work?
So he probably negotiated for that fight just to step in. I don't know. I feel like, jumping in on short notices, you're more doing it for the opportunity more than anything.
No. Okay, hold on. Forget the short notice aspect of it. I'm just curious, okay. Like your normal contract that says I get paid $50,000. I
couldn't tell you if it says it in paper, like in writing. If it says that it was switched, I'd have to go back and look at it. I can't. I don't remember those things, but I would assume most of the time a 5-round fight is a main event, and so usually you get paid more if you're the main event. If that helps at all.
Does your contract say, when you're signing your contract, does it say, oh, but if it's a main event, you'll get different? Or is that just
like a main event bonus? It's not, your pay doesn't change. It's just there's being the main event, you get like a bonus.
So wait a second though. Hold on. So you know how normally it's like the show and win money, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's say you're 50-50, okay, just to make numbers easy. Yeah. So if you're on a contract, it's 50-50, and then you said there's a main event bonus of, let's say, does it add to your show and win, or is it just a flat number?
I think it's just a flat number.
That's not very good then, right?
I've never, been the main event, I guess, so.
That's bullshit. Who do we complain about?
Yeah. There is. Yeah, it is. Damn it. What the hell?
Idiots.
I need to go back in time and slap somebody for that.
Yeah. Okay. So here's another thing. Going into 310, some of the big drama that we had was that where people were fighting on the card. So Aljamain,
I think some of that.
Yeah, Aljo and Evloev, or however you say that name, they were on the prelims, and they seemed quite upset about it. Aljo specifically seemed quite upset about it. And then what was the other one that was on the prelims was Eric Anders, Eric Anders, Fight and Sight alumni, versus Chris Weidman. And they were on the prelims as well. Both of those guys being former champions, blah, blah, blah. They're both like, oh, we shouldn't be on the prelims, whatever. Just to confirm, Bam Bam, because I was writing it everywhere on Instagram, your pay doesn't change whether you're on the main event or main card or prelims, right?
No, it does not.
No.
So,
people always ask me, like, you know, and when I see people make a big deal, it's like, for me, it never mattered. I can be the first fight of the night, or as long as, you know, if it's not the main event or the co-main event, let's say the co-main, it doesn't matter. My pay stays the same. So, I mean, I don't care. You can put me the first fight of the night. The sooner I get to get in there and get it done, so, and have fun.
Right.
That's it. So it never bothered me at all. I thought it was kind of silly that people would get upset, like, oh, I'm not on the main card or whatever. And I understand there being like, you know, TV or whatever, more eyes at a certain time or whatever. So if you're like the main on the prelims or whatever, you're technically probably have more eyes on you and stuff like that. But and people think like the main card, well, a lot of people don't tune in for the main card, they think. So then, you know, they're losing out on eyes being on the main card. But also you got to think like where it's airing, you know, not everybody buys the pay-per-view. So
That is true.
maybe they didn't see you if you know, you were on the main card, you know, the other ones on ESPN Plus and all these other places. So
Everybody
a lot more
sees
eyes
that.
on you. Yeah, exactly. So,
Right.
and I think, you know, in general, if you have, you know, a fan base and stuff, people are going to follow and tune in, and, you know, they're going to let people know that you're fighting at this time and where you're at on the card. And that's going to make other people tune in. So I think it's kind of silly to be upset about it. I mean, even being a former champ or whatever, it's like, well, who cares? You're making just as much money as you would if you were the co-main event. Like, it doesn't matter.
So let me ask you, and that is the story that I always used to hear from my former, not my former favorite, but probably my favorite female fighter, Misha Tate. She was notorious for always being essentially the main event of the prelims. And she came out so many times and said exactly what you said. Bam Bam is like, hey, I'm happy being here. All my friends and family can watch. Nobody has to pay pay-per-view dollars to watch me fight. And I'm here and everybody can see me. So she was fine with it. But I like what you said. Now, here's something, again, more inside dirt, Rain, we're going to get. I can't ask normal guests this because I worry that they'll get insulted. But Bam Bam's my friend. So he'll say it. Or don't say it if you don't want to. Would your sponsors pay you more if you were on the pay-per-view or the prelim or not?
No, I mean,
so your sponsor doesn't give a crap either.
Yeah, really, no, because you're getting, you know, the eyes are on you anyway. And
again, they should pay you more if you're on the prelims.
Yeah, I guess, more eyes on you, more, you know, people not paying for pay-per-views and stuff for sure.
Yeah. Oh, see,
well, really, it's backing you. You know, you out there going out there and representing, being part of the brand or whatever. It's not like we could have their logos on us now, so it doesn't make even more of a difference, you know. So yeah, exactly. So so even then, it doesn't even matter. It's all social media, the build up, really, you know, for the sponsors and stuff, and then obviously going out there and performing on national TV and for all to see is, you know, big. Yeah.
Okay, so here, let's get into this. I thought this was crazy. So Aljo, Chris Weidman, whatever, people were talking about, hey, why shouldn't these fights be on the main card, blah, 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 right? Then there's this article that I read, and I'm going to put this up. So for people that are only on audio, I'll read it out to you. But this is a news article on I don't even know, SB Nation. I'll see it when I put it on here. Look at the title of this article. SB Nation, I was right. UFC matchmakers insult fans, former champion with garbage Mitchell versus Gracie pay-per-view booking.
Wow.
That's a goddamn real article on SB Nation, which is like a legit media, like UFC media. Do you guys know SB Nation? Do either of you recognize that at all?
No.
I mean, you probably figured I wouldn't know. I don't really.
No, I don't know. Like it's I mean, to me, SB Nation normally pops up on my feed. It's not even on my Instagram feed. It's like if I Google things, like it's a pretty decent media outlet. Anyways.
That's a pretty harsh, big you know, title.
You're literally calling Bryce Mitchell and Kron Gracie garbage.
Yeah.
Rain, you've called a lot of fighters garbage in your day.
No.
What do you think about that, Rain? Like, you're okay, but Rain, you are a personality now in the business. You're an announcer. Like, calling someone like that or an article like that.
You're an announcer? Okay, that
makes sense. I am a ring announcer.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I was like, Dang, that sounds really good.
We're right here, Up Next Fighting, right here.
Nice.
Yeah. Bam,
So
she's the
whenever you're
cage
here in
announcer for Up Next
California-
Fighting in California. Yeah, get out there.
Yeah, whenever you're here in LA, let me know. You can
Okay.
catch the show right here at Up Next Fighting.
Rain
Awesome.
can get you 10% off tickets.
Nice. Sweet.
Yeah.
Any off the concessions? I don't know.
No. I've already asked. That's enough.
I'll give you a rain check on that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so Rain, what do you think about that though? Because again, being a personality in the business and stuff like that, like, what do you think about a media outlet calling a Hoist Gracie relative, which is like he's the godfather of MMA, and then Bryce Mitchell, who is literally, I mean, he's a top star in the UFC.
He's Arkansas.
Baby.
Arkansas.
First of all, I saw that bout. I liked it. So I don't know why it was called garbage by SB Nation, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't dare to call anyone garbage or a fight garbage, right? One, it's because it's a small world, right? And you don't know who you're gonna end up running into. What if one day you want to interview them, these fighters, and the organization, for example, UFC, right? It's kind of like a harsh word to say, especially what if, one of these days you want to be like, hey, can I ask you for a favor? Can I ask for an interview? They'll tell you, wait, aren't you like the garbage, whatever outlet that called us garbage? Like, they might tell you that one day. So I don't know. That's not something that I would kind of venture into.
Bam.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with her on that as far as especially the interview thing. Like, what if his next fight, or a couple fights down the road, he's fighting like top contender, and wins, and then you're like, oh yeah, hey, come on for an interview or whatever, it's whack. I mean, there's fighters that don't have great performances. I've been called trash plenty of times by people,
Right.
Right before I came on. I mean, it's okay. No, but I mean, really, it is like it's hard for people to say, or like when people constantly say like, oh, this guy sucks or whatever, like, oh, you don't want to watch him or whatever, and then he has like a breakout performance or something like that. I just think like they're in the NFL of fighting, like, go in there and you try. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's not that easy. And I think your game plans and things don't always work out, or the things you think are going to work aren't going to work, and it's a lot harder than it is. And then you have all eyes on you, and people are going to say what they're going to say, so you got to have tough skin. But is it the right? It's definitely not the right thing to do, especially in headlines, and you're supposed to be a media outlet, marketing and talking about fighters and stuff like that. Like, it's outrageous, ridiculous.
No. Okay.
I didn't know who they were, but if I did, I wouldn't be reading their stuff anymore either.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing though, Bam. You think that the community would go like, whoa.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't we all stick up for our brothers and sisters?
Even if they didn't like the fight. But
this is before the fight. Oh, wait, hold on. Is this clear? This is before the pay-per-view starts.
Before the pay-per-view starts. Oh.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Wait, which makes it worse then, right? Because yeah. No, because the fight was amazing.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Like, Thug Nasty's fight was incredible.
With the knockout?
Knockout, brutal,
slamming him, and then with the murder elbows, like,
yeah.
At the end, like,
no, this is on the, I don't know, December 4th. So this was the Thursday. Like,
okay.
Like, before the event, they're calling
crazy.
this fight garbage. And then I read the article, and it doesn't even justify, like, it's generally
so
just
it's like
saying
clickbait.
It's clickbait, but clickbait at the expense of these fighters. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, guess who the writer of that article is?
Timmy B.
I was doing it under my ghost name or whatever you call it. No. Ready for this? This is what's incredible. The writer of the article, I'm pretty sure, I'm almost positive, is a goddamn fighter. Andrew Road Dog Richardson, who's a 4-1 pro. He hasn't fought in a while, but I mean, he has a respectable record, 4-1. But that's him, man. I'm almost positive because here it says Andrew L. Richardson. And when I search that, that's him. I think it is. Maybe it's not.
Did you click on the app?
Yeah.
I did. And I'm like, so I'm 99%, but just in case I get sued, I'm just saying, I don't know for sure it's him. I think it's him though. But let's just say if it is a fighter, even crazier, man, that you would call other fighters garbage.
Yeah.
Or that their fight is garbage, or that like I know you're not saying Bryce Mitchell is garbage, but you're saying his fight is the matchup is garbage. His placement on the card is garbage. Any way you take it, I feel like it's super inappropriate. And I did invite him to come on the podcast to talk about it. If it is him, I don't know if it is him.
Get him.
Look, because I want to ask him respectfully. Because you know why, Bam? We've seen so
don't let
many
him get
problems.
away with that.
I just want to know because Bam, we've
tell
seen
him
so
you want
much.
to talk respectfully and then let him have it.
I just want to talk respectfully. By the way, Brian Bam Bam is at your doorstep, and but like it's like because it's like I feel like the media in MMA right now is so crazy. They can try to dig you so badly. This all lined up really perfectly for the guest that we were supposed to have on with Tresean Gore. Because let me play you a little video. This was. So Tresean Gore gets a submission victory. This is the commentary.
I think I remember.
Okay, so this is the commentary backstage after he wins, after he gets the knockout. I'm just going to play the beginning of the interview.
On the broadcast, Bisping, when you took him down, kind of seemed like, oh, that was the wrong move. When you were doing that, were you able to hear that kind of criticism? Did you know what?
Man, Bisping literally always does that. I don't know why. Like, everything I do is just untechnical and wrong.
Okay, could you hear that?
I'm gonna be honest with you. It was honest. I didn't realize my thing was muted for when you play stuff, and so I was trying to get it to unmute, and it like went out of the thing. I thought I got kicked out and was able to come back in. I was still here, and then I saw the unmute button, so I pushed it, and then I heard, he says that every time.
All right, you're wasting airtime with your terrible excuse, Bam Bam.
Anyway, I remember it though. The report, technical, all this stuff.
Yes,
I remember, and I can relate. I can relate.
Okay, but here's what happens though. The reporter says, "Hey, when you went for the takedown, Bisping on commentary says how untechnical that is, or that's the wrong move. Then you take him down. Could you hear him? Because as a commentator, you're right on the edge of the ring. And so a lot of times, even when I've been commentating at Fight League Atlantic, go check out fightleagueatlantic.com. I worry that sometimes if I'm commentating that the fighter's right there, especially if they're next to me, I've got headphones on. I never know how loud I'm talking. And I feel bad if I'm like, oh, he is really getting pummeled. You know what I mean? And then the guy's like, hey, fuck you, buddy. Right?
Yeah.
But sometimes I've never, but so they say that. And then Tresean Gore goes off, and thank God this dude is a professional, because he goes, hey, he always says that, but you know what? He's a champion. He's achieved things that I want to achieve. And so I respect him, and I wouldn't say anything about. And then, so he turns it. And then this freaking media lady goes, oh, well, he did say afterwards that it was right and blah, blah, blah. But you set him up. You tried to get him to go off and bash Bisping so that you could have more clickbait. A guy who just fought, who even though he won, he's still like, he's got euphoria. He's got like all the hormones going and the energy and the whatever.
Yeah,
you're trying to get, you're trying to get him to say something wrong. And I'm like, this media is so bullshit, man. Like what they're doing to people, and I feel like they're doing it way more now, Bam Bam, than in your day. Than even just a few years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely gotten worse. I've noticed. But yeah,
especially they try to trap you
and try to trap you. Yeah. And then in the interview would be like, oh, he's, he said all these things. And then, but he said, he should be a champion. He is a champion. All this, it's like it's bogus.
No. And then I feel bad though, because if you look up if you just look up Tresean Gore Bisping, all the articles are Tresean Gore rips into Bisping, Tresean Gore, blah, blah, blah. Like even then they still take a piece of what you said out. They don't go the whole route, and the articles just make it look like you're talking trash.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, that is not cool at all, man. Yeah. So anyways, that's weird. Bam Bam. Let's get into your personal finances now.
Open my book. Hold on. I got it all here.
Rain wasn't here when I did it, but I had on a guest, which was Heather Jo Clark, former UFC fighter, Ultimate Fighter competitor. She came on to talk about the UFC lawsuit, the antitrust lawsuit. The day I have her on, the next day, the lawsuit got approved, or whatever it is. The settlement got approved.
I was
Sorry.
the source for you.
What's that?
Said I was the source. Let you know it was approved.
Yeah. Did you tell me?
Yeah.
You told me that next day.
Yeah.
So it gets approved. Now here's the thing, talking about media and stuff like that. Nobody talks about it, Bam Bam. I haven't seen one friggin' news article, one media member ask a fighter. Nobody asked Dana White that week or the next or the next. Not that I've seen it. And I mean, as far as you know, as a fighter who would have been included in that time period, what is it approved? Is it done?
They said they accepted the offer. Yeah.
But so then what? You just sit there and wait for a Lamborghini to pull up? Like, how does that work?
I don't want that. Give me that money.
No, the Lamborghini is the guy. The Lamborghini is the guy delivering it, and then he just throws money.
That. So according to the notice or whatever, it's like, there will be a time we have to fill something out or something next year, and that it's going to take a little bit of process before the fight get situated and sorted out, and should be like somewhere near summer next year or something like that.
Summer of 2025.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy, though.
Yeah.
Is it crazy that nobody's talking about it? Or no, just nobody?
I mean, I guess, yeah. Especially like you think like the main guys who started the lawsuit and stuff,
Yes.
You think it would be more out there, I guess. Like they would be like pushing like, hey,
look what we did.
Yeah, we won. We're finally getting back. So I did see when they had put an offer, like the UFC tried to get a settlement or whatever, do a settlement before the first time, and it was declined. So I saw something that like there was like fighters from the beginning who started it and stuff were like, hey, we wanted to accept the offer and all this stuff. We just want to, we have our bills. And so I think more then than I have now with that the offer has been accepted, and approved. Okay. So
I don't know. I just think it's strange because you would think that it would be a big thing. You think that people would either be bragging about it or that the media would be talking about, because what it also does is it really sets a standard now for another lawsuit to come through, because this was for one period of time.
Yeah.
I don't get why they wouldn't just do another one for the next lump of time.
I think there is another one already.
No, I think there's another one from a Canadian fighter, Cajun Johnson. He's the head of that one. Who your boy Timmy B did reach out to him, but he said he cannot speak about it. But there is another one ongoing, but that's almost the same time or very close. But I just mean, like, if you fought yesterday, plan on another lawsuit coming, I think.
Well, maybe that's the thing though, is maybe they're telling them not to talk about it.
Well, I guess maybe, but
like,
anyways,
like an NDA, maybe.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe
until like or whatever. I'm just telling you what I mean.
Yeah. Well,
no,
we didn't hear anything.
Cut that. You didn't hear nothing. Cut it.
Okay. Here,
I'm just saying what I know. I mean, there's no real.
No. Well, no, you haven't really.
I saw what I said anyway. Already, I think someone posted it. Something.
I think SB Nation posted it.
Oh, forget that. Never mind.
Okay, here's something that's more also down Bam Bam's alley. The 12 to 6 elbows, Bam.
Gosh, I wish during my time.
What a dream it would have been. But here's the
Damn it.
thing that I don't see people doing, and I haven't seen it since the 12-6 elbow rule came in. I feel that, man, if you are on top of a guy, right?
Yeah.
That it must be almost impossible to block a 12-6 elbow coming straight down, because when you put your hands up to guard like that, it's going to come straight through that friggin' thing.
Yeah. And slice through the guard. Yeah. I haven't seen a lot of people doing it either.
I know. But like, I really feel like the minute you're on top, you got to be doing 12-6 just straight down, because you can't. What are they going to do? Like, how are they going to block that? It's so pointed right through.
No.
Oh, like an X, like Degeneration X. Yeah. Like, I just don't know how you're going to stop that. I feel like it's so unutilized so far.
I think people are still getting used to it.
Yeah, right. Because you think their brain is like, I can't do this, so you just don't.
Yeah, they just don't. So they just stick with like the safe ones, like they already know they can do.
And think about all the drills you've probably done your whole life, Bam Bam, where you're like on the bag and then you go bang, bang on the bag, right? But you're doing it that way. Now, if you're like a 5-year-old kid at the gym, this way.
Yeah.
You know? Teach him now, man. Like, you got to get the other thing that I feel like people have really missed, especially at UFC 310, man. There were many times, and the commentators did say it once. People are getting almost taken down. They're putting one hand down on the ground.
That's not a no-go anymore.
And I don't know if they're doing that, Rain, to like keep their balance and stay up, or if it's just muscle memory and they're doing that to avoid the kicks. But so many guys were doing that, putting that third point down onto the ground. And I'm like, why is the dude not just throwing a kick to that face right now? Because it is wide open.
Yeah. Again, I think it's people. It's going to take a little. There's going to be a time period of like getting used to it, getting used to the rule, the new change of rules and everything.
Yeah.
Especially because in certain, I don't know if it's like all around now, but it used to be in like certain states you can do certain stuff.
Right.
Certain countries, there's certain rules. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Now, so I thought it was always weird as like, oh, well, here you can do this and here you can do that. It's like, why isn't it the same everywhere? We're fighting the same promotion. They should have the same rules everywhere, but it's just commission and everything.
One of the rules that people don't know about is that if you're fighting Michael Chandler, you can hit to the back of the head and it's fine. Did you know that? That's a rule.
You can take it.
Yeah. No, he can give it. He can give it. No foul.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, last thing I want to talk about, Rain. P for P. I got into a lot of fights online with this.
Oh no.
P for P. Pound for pound. Number one. Who is it, Rain? Your opinion?
Right now?
Yeah.
Oh, I would probably say oh God. Putting me on the spot right now. Oh God. Oh.
The answer is Bryan Bam Bam Barberena.
There you go.
Terrible.
Dang, you got to think about it.
Who's your answer? Okay, Bam Bam. Who's your answer? Well, Rain thinks.
Pound for pound right now. Actually, I need to think too. Because I know what they have down. They have Islam and then Jones.
Volkanovski. Max Holloway.
For me, it's Alex Pereira for now. Because like the guy,
Alex Pereira.
He always like steps up like last minute, short notice fights.
Yeah.
People like freaked out when he was like the main event of UFC. That was UFC 300, right? When he was like
Jamal.
Yeah. And it's like, but then like time and time again, he kind of showed up this year, short notice calls.
Yeah.
But then he delivered. So I feel like right now he's that guy.
I think you're right, honestly, because you got to think about too, like his title defenses. He has more title defenses than Jones right now, actively, more than Islam right now. I think.
I guess, especially against people his own weight class.
Yeah, 2 weight classes.
So okay, so here's the thing.
Is that different than like all time? All time?
I don't know.
You know,
Anyways, the
are we
point of
talking
this,
active? Because I will
I
say,
mean,
I agree that John Jones is hands down. He's the best fighter there's ever been in the UFC. Like everything he's done, skill level, everything outside of just in the cage, not outside of the cage, but in the cage, he is the man.
So, but here's the thing. What I don't like is they're like, can you win the P for P #1 title by beating the pound for pound guy?
Islam's gonna fight Jones. I get it.
No, but this is what happened. Volkanovski was pound for pound #1. Okay. And then when Islam beat him, they're like, oh, Islam is now the pound for pound #1. And I'm like, first of all, that's not how that works, you dummies. Pound for pound is based on your overall resume and record of what you've done. One loss doesn't necessarily get rid of it. And it definitely doesn't give it to the guy that beat you. Because you could get like a flash, you could get like a flash knockout. Like freaking Masvidal could knee you in the first 2 seconds. That doesn't mean he becomes the pound for pound #1.
Yeah, I agree with that. But also, okay, so then does that mean Jones is the pound for pound because his overall accolades and everything he's done?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Like, then I guess he'd be for sure be #1.
But so I was getting into fights with people because they're like, well, Islam is pound for pound #1 because he beat Volkanovski. I'm like, first of all, Volkanovski's a weight class lower. So I don't care that he stepped up. It's like, you're really going to claim that title from beating a lighter guy? Now people are saying
work like that.
No, I know. Now people are saying if Islam fights Ilia Topuria, right? Because there's been a little bit of talk that Ilia Topuria may come up to fight Islam. If Ilia Topuria beats Islam, is he the pound for pound #1? Does it start to have a lineage like this?
No, you shouldn't. Okay, no, I think John Jones pound for pound #1
doesn't matter anyways.
#1, and I think Alex Pereira comes in #2. And these are like active fighters. So now John's is active. He had to still pound for pound #1. If you count everything he's done in the past and the stuff he's done now, it still comes together because he's an active fighter. He's pound for pound #1. Alex Pereira #2. Islam #3. And then you can go to others as well. And I don't know, does it still like, if you're a champ, you're automatically above the guys who aren't the champ, who have greater accolades, like Max Holloway? You know, how many title defenses he had? A ton. How many badass scraps has he had? A ton. Yeah. Like, he's definitely up there. Like,
well, that's what I'm saying, Bam. I don't think a loss eliminates you from pound for pound #1.
I don't think so.
It's your body of work. It's all the things you've done and accomplished and how you've done it. It doesn't matter that you lose one here or there or anything. Like, who cares?
Yeah. What do you think, Bryan?
I don't know. Well, so for me, I mean, I agree with you about John Jones, right? Okay. But again, like what I said earlier, if we're talking about just this year, I've seen more Alex Pereira fights than the John Jones fights. Granted, the last fight that John Jones had, that was like the not 310 but 309. I mean, I thought was really good.
Why is that good, Rain?
Well,
he beat up a retired guy who hasn't been training for 6 years.
We haven't seen him in a long time. So for me, just to kind of like see him again, to me, that was
who again?
John Jones. To me, it's like,
I know, but he could. Again. What if he went in and fought me and won? Would you be cheering for him? I mean, like.
Wait. You said what if he beat you? Yeah, let's go.
No. I feel like that fight does absolutely nothing for him.
Okay, so especially now I gotta ask.
What?
Do you think the Aspinall fight has to happen? Or do you think
everywhere?
Do you think it's Aspinall? Like, he has to fight Aspinall?
Who else?
Or
is he
do you think it's the Pereira fight?
No, Bam. Who else is he gonna fight? It has to be the guy's sitting there with an interim title on his mantle place. He's already defended it once. Like, what the hell are you going to do with this guy? Like, you got to friggin' give him a thing. Or, you know what? Here's the big thing. Aspinall should ask for a release of his contract and then go fight Ngannou. Because there's a big there would be a lot of people that would say that Ngannou might be the P for P best or the baddest man on the planet or whatever, right? And I think Aspinall should really play his leverage, like take the leverage he has and go, you know what, UFC, you either book me against John Jones or you release me. Now,
I think John Jones relinquishes the title.
Yeah, but I know, of course he will. I don't think Jones is ever going to fight Aspinall, and I think he's just going to sit and be stupid about it. Maybe he'll go in for another surgery, some elective surgery.
Well, I think he'll relinquish the title and then try to push for the Pereira fight.
I don't think Dana will force. I don't think Dana will force him to relinquish the title, though. I think if he goes and gets surgery, they'll just say, "Well, the title is still his," and blah blah blah. And now Aspinall, you can either not fight and make $0, or you can defend your interim title. And every time you do that, you run the risk of throwing away your payday of fighting John Jones when he does come back.
I mean, you're right, though. He's defended it. He's already defended it. Like,
yeah.
How are you going to have him defend it again? That doesn't make sense.
Because how's this guy making money, Bam? Where does Tom Aspinall make money?
I'm sure he's making
sponsorships, maybe.
How much is your sponsor?
Man. I bet you he's making he's definitely making like champion pay. Like he had a big bump just for winning an interim and then even defending it and everything, even though Jones.
No, I know, but how does he make money when he's not fighting?
Oh, shit, get that part-time job, trash man,
Working at the local fish and chip restaurant.
That's the hardest part, right?
But that's bull crap.
Yeah,
but that's so nonsense.
Especially because he's got to wait for Jones to accept the fight again. Otherwise, if they do, then, or he asked like, okay, well then let me defend the interim title, which he still would get champions pay or whatever.
Yeah, but Bam, you don't want to do that because you do that, and at this highest level of the game, you get knocked out or something happens, right? You get freak injury, anything can happen. You then lose your title. And now you got to work your way back up, right? Like it's kind of like what happened with Chandler, right? You're sitting there waiting for Conor forever for that payday. I don't even know. And then finally you're like, all right, I'm going broke. I've got like I got bills to pay. He takes the fight against Oliveira and then loses.
Yeah.
Now what? Now what happens to your stock? So like for
Aspinall, like for him, it was the risk of getting the title shot. But yeah,
you know what I mean? That always reminds me of Joanne Calderwood, because she was the #1 contender, was supposed to fight Alexa Grasso, and then Alexa Grasso couldn't fight, and she took a fight against, I want to say Manon Fiorot or someone, and she lost, and then she lost her freaking title shot, and it's like that was the worst thing to do. Like, yeah. You know what I mean? You had that thing lined up and you lost it, and then she, never ended up being able to compete for the title, right? Or never won the title. So
yeah,
I think you got to be careful with that stuff.
Worked out like by taking that fight for potential shot at the title. I think I think the Conor fight still is going to be there. You know what I mean? But I think for him in that sense, it worked out. Like you take the risk to potentially get a title shot.
You're talking about Chandler.
Chandler, yeah. Aspinall, I think it needs to be Jones, and I think the UFC needs to make it be Jones. And
okay, but can we just all agree that my thing is the best, which is you tell the UFC, I either fight John Jones or you release me, and the minute you get released, you go fight Ngannou.
They won't release him.
Tom Aspinall versus Ngannou.
They won't release him.
What, in the PFL?
Fight Insight podcast announcing it here and now.
That's a risk in itself.
SB Nation, come pick up this story. Ngannou versus Aspinall. Not a garbage fight.
The last fight of the PFL.
Yeah. To pay those two guys will absolutely bankrupt us forever.
Yeah. Jeez.
There will be 12,000 people buying the pay-per-view.
Honestly, I don't know the story about the PFL and Bellator or whatever, but I see these posts from fighters and things like that. and it's sad. It really is. It's super sad that
You don't have any good
everything's
friends that you don't have any like good buddies that fight for Bellator?
I do, but the people I know that are well, he's like injured and recovering right now.
Hmm.
Oh,
So,
who?
Mike Hamill.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. I don't know, man, but I do know that we're going a little bit long here, and Rain has to go. Right, Rain? Aren't you on
Yeah, I
schedule,
have a
man?
few more minutes, but
2 more minutes?
a
Okay,
few
Rain.
more
Well,
minutes.
a few more. Okay, well, Rain, what do you definitely
3.
want to get off your chest
I
right
have a
now?
question for you, Bam Bam.
Oh, okay.
I've seen
How's
UFC
your beard
veterans
so thick?
at my I've seen UFC veterans at my promotion Up Next Fighting out here in Los Angeles, California. You know, they would, still take up fights, championship bouts out here. For you, will that be something that you would consider, right? If you see like a local or regional promotion, would you think of like trying it out maybe every now and then just to kind of like, get back in the cage and fight again?
So I've actually had this conversation. Well, I guess I've never really like had it out there, I guess. So, but I'm not like there's some local stuff here too, and other organizations. So I feel, and this may be wrong, and people may think whatever they may think, but I feel like I'm past the regional scene. I don't feel like obviously if the money's right, that's the biggest thing is I know my worth, and I'm not going to take these regional scenes. A lot of them want to offer you a couple $1,000s to get in there and fight, and it's like, well, that's great, and I understand it for like up and coming fighters, but like I said, I know my worth, and the time I put in and the expenses that go into it, it's just overall not worth it. I love to fight, but I can go do that at the gym if I needed to, if I wanted to get the itch out. I am looking to fight again, and do it and step in the cage again, or a ring, or wherever. I will be fighting again. It's just it definitely I know my worth, and it has to be worth my time, and the right amount of pay for me. Honestly, that's the biggest thing. It's just got to be the right number for me to step in there again. So, and if it doesn't turn out where none of these people want to pay me what I'm worth, or even close, then I won't fight again. And personally, honestly, like it sucks, but I guess that'd be okay with me. Like I'm not gonna go out and do for less than I know I'm worth. And it's not. I'm not one of those. I'm not. I don't think it's. I'm at that point where like people who get in the UFC and then they ride out after a couple fights and they like, I'm gonna fight my way back and go on the regional scene and take the budget cut or take the cut because they're like, okay, if I could just knock 2 out, get 2 wins, maybe 3, exciting fashion on the regional scene, boom, I'm back in the UFC getting signed. And that does happen. And it's not that I wouldn't love to be back in the UFC, but I think I could do that on a bigger stage than a regional scene, get some wins and then get back if I wanted to, if the opportunity was there. But ultimately, we'll see what happens.
Do you mind if I paraphrase for Rain, Bam?
Yeah, was that way? That was probably, yeah.
No, I'm just gonna paraphrase it for Rain. Rain, go back to UNF and tell them to up the offer.
Oh, was there an offer?
I feel like she was somewhat giving an offer,
Yeah,
kind of like,
wondering. Yeah,
like, she's testing the waters.
Touch base, see where he's at. Let us know.
Yeah, as Mr. Barberena's legal counsel, Cruz, I would ask that you.
I didn't catch that, so Timmy B.
Yeah, got it. I got you. And also, please note, Ms. Cruz, that we are also fielding offers from the Pillow Fight League, which have been very lucrative. And so you're going to need to come back.
Would you do power slap then?
No. I don't even want him to answer this goddamn question, Rain. If he ever does power slap, I'm never talking to him again. Do not do that, damn it. No. Right? You would never do that. Give me a break.
I don't know. I think if the price is right.
I think his screen froze. Bam, you're not. Would you do that? No, don't.
Preferably, I'd rather not do power slaps.
No, that's terrible.
Okay.
You've got a wife, you've got children.
But I guess money talks. But even still, I think I wouldn't do it.
Dude, that is brain damage.
I personally don't find any enjoyment doing that. in doing that, and even for the pay, like if it was like a crazy amount of money, even still, I don't think I'd be about it.
I don't even understand what the amount of money would be.
The problem is because you can't even. It's not even like you can. You're fighting.
There's no
back
skill in it.
There's no like
no
you
skill.
can make a miss. Like he can try to slap me. Oh, like it's like you just take it, and then if you're not dead, then you get to hit him back. Like I don't know. I don't know.
Stupidest. Rain, how dare you ask that question? Rain? That is the worst.
I mean, I get it.
No. Ridiculous. I'd rather see Bam Bam fight.
They did call me
in a phone booth.
Or they like called you and asked?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
They did call?
I'm just kidding.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
No, that is
I haven't talked to him about. I haven't talked to anybody about power slap.
As a UFC athlete, were you told you may not disparage power slap?
I've never been told anything.
I always wonder about that. I always wonder if they tell the athletes like you.
Well, I see they ask people on some of these things like, what is your opinion on power slap? Everybody gives like a real nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's cool.
Oh, it's amazing.
I don't know. I think if you're up for it, why not? But like,
yeah, I mean,
because it's brain damage. I just feel like it's so unsafe, though. But I feel like it's so unsafe. Like it's so terribly horrible for you, especially like a man the size of Bam Bam, Rain. Like that's like a Mack truck hitting you in the like square in the head. Like I don't mind, like not that I'm a pervert, but I don't mind watching the girls do it. Right. if like I can watch Paige Van Zandt do power slap all day long.
I thought that was the weirdest thing, and I'm pretty sure they set her up with people who weren't even. Like,
I know, but Bam, like how hard is she really gonna slap? Like I feel like Rain, I'll find you a competitor, no problem, right? You guys can slap the hell out of each other all day long, but I don't feel like you're gonna cause each other permanent and serious brain damage. But when these men are doing it, that are giant men, that's crazy, man. I mean, crazy. Just forgetting your children's names, the one hit, forgetting your birthday, the second hit. Like, what the hell? It's crazy. No way. Bam's not doing it. No. Legal counsel has spoken.
I'll let you know if I ever get into it, but
yeah. Well, don't call me when you do. All right, we're out of here. Bam, you saved the.
Was that an offer? Was that like a feeler? Rain?
No, that was just an honest question, honestly. Because like my last.
I think legally that's an offer.
No, my last fight, I actually announced two guys who have fought in the UFC, and they were our main event. And one of them actually ended up retiring. That was his last bout. So.
Oh yes.
Shout out to him, Francisco Rivera. Hi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, and at Fight League Atlantic 15, I commentated a UFC fighter's retirement fight, which was Chris the Greek Assassin Kladis, who's normally a commentator for Fight League Atlantic. He went back in the cage one final time, back at home, back on the East Coast, and he fought his retirement fight for that promotion, which was amazing, and he won, and it was a great fight, and it was just a great swan song, right, for him to be able to do that with his home and stuff like that. So, it gives people an opportunity, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Put the gloves down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kind of put a seal on it.
Yeah.
Get it.
So it's cool. All right. Look, we covered everything that I could have imagined. So thank you guys for coming. Guys, we will maybe see you next week. I don't know when the last episode of this is going to be. We do have to do a year-end show no matter what. I do want to at least do a year-end show where we pick, and Bam Bam, of course, you're going to be invited to that because you're always there for our year-end shows. So we'll pick, like, I think this year we're just going to do finish of the year, fight of the year, and then maybe male and female of the year or something like that. So like we won't make it too crazy. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you, Bam Bam, for joining, my friend.
Yeah, thank you.
Rain, it was a pleasure. Thank you for you guys. Thank you for having me on. It was nice to meet you, Rain.
Nice to meet you as well.
Yeah. And thanks for keeping it clean this time, Bam. You weren't swearing a lot, and it wasn't too bad this time, so it's good.
Yeah,
have to edit. Yeah,
good.
All right,
thanks.
guys.
Yeah,
guys, have a good one. Thank you so much for watching. And Rain, thank you. Bam, thanks, buddy.
You.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.